Places with the best attractions in 2023. We've been looking into the data here at Kiwi.com, and it seems you're already looking forward to 2023. Searches are stacking up for destinations such as Barcelona. Nearly 2 million so far, Los Angeles, over 2 million, London and Paris, over 3 million, and Bangkok, over 6 million. Those are all wonderful places, of course, and they should be on your bucket list. Here, however, are our insider tips for travel in 2023. We've picked out some of our favorite regions, countries, cities, tours and projects to inspire you more than ever. From hiking in Canada to a famous South Korean fish market, a romantic journey, a conservation project, city breaks and road trips, they're all here. And remember, January is one of the cheapest times of the year to book flights, so book early, save more, and give yourself something to look forward to in 2023. 1. Eastern France. When most people think of France, it's Paris, the Riviera, the beaches and vineyards of the southwest, the mountains maybe, and the eastern part of the country doesn't really get a look in. That's a mistake. There's Strasbourg with its pretty wood-framed houses, canal paths, and huge but curiously lopsided cathedral. Besançon is a tight network of sturdy, 18th-century townhouses huddled together on a bend in the Doubs River. Nancy is almost Paris in miniature, its Art Nouveau stylings, boulevards and palaces bringing upright elegance and refinement to the region. Culturally as well, you're caught somewhere not entirely French, with Luxembourg, Switzerland and Germany right there over the various borders. The Vosges du Nord Regional Nature Park is a pleasant distraction too. Its forests and wetlands are dotted with medieval ruins and tiny villages. All in all, it's a fabulous region that doesn't really get enough love. Maybe 2023 is the time to change that. 2. Night trains, Europe, various routes. One of the joys of a connected continent is how easy it is to cross borders and see so many different cities. Bicycles and canals in the north, red-roofed laneways in the center, and beachfront relaxation in the south. Traveling across Europe to see all this is now even easier thanks to the network of night trains running across the continent. It's a great way to travel as you leave one wonderful city in the evening, satisfied and full of dinner, and wake up the next morning somewhere else, ready and raring to explore. There are a bunch of options available, all of which need a reservation for either a seat or a bed, and all of them run between places that are at once accessible and romantic sounding. The Euronight Metropole runs between Prague and Budapest. The Berlin Night Express takes you from the German capital to Stockholm. Intercités de Nuit connects Paris with either Toulouse, La Tour de Carol on the Spanish border, or Briançon in the Alps, and the Hellas Express rumbles between Belgrade and Thessaloniki. This is just a selection, of course, and one of the best things is that because you're flying to and from different destinations to start and end your trip. 3. Trinidad and Tobago. The two-island nation of Trinidad and Tobago, Trinidad's the larger one, sits off the coast of Venezuela, and prides itself on its conservation projects. Every year, the numerous organizations on the islands require volunteers to aid their activities, from measuring and cataloging the activities of leatherback turtles, to helping build new animal hospitals. The nonprofit organization Nature Seekers is the place to begin. For around $500, between April and August you can become part of their team, learning how to deal with and document the turtles and their nests, around 20,000 annually. As well as patrolling the beaches at night while having time to relax and explore the island during the day. The scheme also involves trips to Caroni Swamp, a protected wetland home to hundreds of bird species, including the scarlet ibis, one of the national birds of the country. 4. Kosovo. Europe's youngest nation is coming into its own as a tourist destination. 2023 marks 15 years since it unilaterally declared independence from Serbia, so maybe it's time to visit this pretty part of the Balkans. The capital, Pristina, isn't the most attractive city in the world, but its lively atmosphere and central location make it the ideal place to meet the locals, learn about the complicated history of the city and the region in its range of decent museums, and use it as a base for exploring the country further. The center of Pristina is smart enough, and the surrounding hillsides are great for looking over the city, its towers and minarets, and hearing the calls to prayer drift, ghost-like, up into the trees. It's also a fabulous country for outdoorsy types. In the west of the country, you'll come across the dramatic and superbly named Accursed Mountains, home to the Bieshket-i Namuna National Park. It's a starkly beautiful place, with forests, waterfalls, meadows, and lakes at the bottom of sheer valleys, and is one of the 4 national parks in the region, the others being in Albania, Montenegro and a small bit of Serbia. There are plans to create a tri-state national park between Albania, Montenegro and Kosovo, to be known as the Balkans Peace Park. With the rather fraught history of the region still causing resentment to some, it would certainly be a small step in a positive direction. 5. The Pacific Northwest, U.S. It's not the big city life of New York City on the East Coast, and it's not the warmth and glamour of California to the south, but the PNW, as it's known, is well worth a chunk of your time. Oregon, Washington, and the southern end of British Columbia in Canada make up this beautiful part of the world. And though its reputation for rainy weather is kind of justified, both the cities and the scenery more than make up for it. Portland, Oregon's biggest city, is lively and artsy, not too big, but big enough to be fun. It's also easy to get out to the surrounding areas of natural beauty such as the Columbia River and the beaches of the Pacific Coast. Seattle, around 3 hours north, is home to a bunch of famous sites such as Pike Place and the Space Needle as well as some of the country's best microbreweries. If you have the paperwork to cross into Canada. 6. Morelia, Mexico. More than 200 of its historic buildings are made from the light pinkish stone that's quarried locally, and this gives the city a mellow, almost surreal look. You might notice, or in fact, not notice, that there's a lack of a Zócalo, or main square. It's the only colonial city in Mexico not to have one. This doesn't mean the city wants for focal points though, oh no. The 18th century Baroque cathedral is one of the finest in the country, and on Saturdays, is illuminated with floodlights and fireworks as music plays and locals gather to celebrate, well, just to celebrate. The best thing to do is to get your bearings with a trip on the Tranvía, city sightseeing bus, that departs from La Plaza de Armas. You can hop on and off at various points, and you'll get to know all the main sights of the city, including the impressive 17th century aqueduct, with its 253 arches, that still carries water to the city. You can also treat yourself to something delicious. Morelia is the candy capital of Mexico, so head over to the Museo del Dulce for manufacturing demonstrations and tastings of some of the city's most famous sweets, and then to the Mercado de Dulces y Artesanías, an entire market dedicated to the stuff. It's a fine way to add a bit of sweetness to an already tasty city. 7. Senegal. Senegal is known as the land of Teranga. What's Teranga? Well, it's a word in the Wolof language and it translates, very loosely, as hospitality, but it also defines the very essence of the country. It encompasses generosity, both spiritually and materially, a sense of community, and the idea that there's no such thing as other. It means that, in the words of Dr. Ibra Sine, a Senegalese historian talking to the BBC, by being so giving to all, regardless of nationality, religion or class, a feeling grows that everyone is safe and welcome. You would be willing to look at people and counsel them as the members of your own family. If that doesn't sound like somewhere to visit, I don't know what does. It's almost Africa in a nutshell too, if such a thing is possible. Rolling, sandy deserts in the north, mangrove swamps, tropical savanna, big, bustling cities, and beaches backed by wooden fishing villages. Like, comment, share and subscribe to my channel.